Kayode Aderebi is a legal practitioner and also a politician. I hope you are still a politician.
Yes, very well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, and I also like to welcome Mrs. Gladys Odubeli. Mrs. Gladys Odubeli is the current chairman of Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, Ogun State Chapter. Madam, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome once again on this platform.
Thank you.
I really want to appreciate that each time I beckon on you, you always respond. Thank you so much. The topic today is aftermath of 2023 election. What strategies can we adopt for healing processes? The healing process for advancement of our democracy. And I like to say that the election came, and we thank God that there were not serious issues that would truncate our fledgling democracy. Let me start with a barrister. I want to ask you, how successful can you judge this election?
Well, I would say it was taken a little bit higher than we used to have it. And my KPI, one of the performance, the key performance points that I'm looking at is the very bogus votes we used to have in places like, say, Kano, for instance. Second is likes of Kaduna and the likes. In fact, as a matter of fact, you'll see that few weeks before election, Governor Erufai was boasting that about 4 million votes of the likes would come from Kano alone. So we saw that all those things did not happen. Of course, on one side, voter apathy could account for why that is. But at the same time, in my view, my opinion, I think the Beaver's introduction, in a way, or in fact in many ways, reduced that, because he has a camera in the front and then behind it. So if you are a child, say 7 years old or 10, and you're about to thumbprint or to vote, and that captures you, or during accreditation, it could create a lot of issues. In fact, it could even lead to cancellation, because under the Electoral Act, particularly section 134, subsection 1, paragraph B, one of the grounds upon which an election can be overturned or cancelled in the court or in the tribunal is where there are corrupt practices, where there is malpractice. So it could be that for fear of citing some areas for that didn't happen. So areas where we used to have 4 million votes for one person didn't happen. Look at the APC presidential candidate that was declared winner. I think his total votes is about 8 million or so. Meanwhile, in previous years, Kano alone could have given half of that. So I think we took it a step further, than what it used to be. And of course, it's not yet Uhuru. We shouldn't rest on our oars. That tells us that, what was sampled, the issue of technology, which is beavers that were deployed, is working. I've said it before in your program. I think sometime last year when you asked me a similar question. Technology clearly helps a lot of things. It reduces the more interference, the more human interference you have in a process, the more likely it is to have rigging or manipulation.
Ineffective results.
Generally, even apart from elections, if I slot one day I was going to withdraw money at the ATM point, and I saw a woman there. She was taking a lot of time. You know what she was doing? That was before the new Naira note thing came in. She was counting the money to be sure that it was complete. And she stood there, and I said, Madam, if you count this money and it is 100 Naira short, will you hold the machine or what? This is even after bank has closed. It was about 7 p.m. She took her time. The point I'm trying to make is that it is unlikely for that to happen. All right. It is difficult to hear many cases of people complaining that I went to ATM point, I punched 10,000, he gave me 8,000. It will be difficult to hear that. But where human beings are involved, a lot of things can happen. So in the same vein, I think going forward, we could look at more putting more technology into the whole system so as to reduce human interference. And I think Nigeria is a little bit better for it.
Yeah, thank you very much. To you, it was a success.
A notch higher, at least one notch higher.
A step forward.
Absolutely.
Mr. Oduboni, I'd like to ask you, there are still hues and cries about this election, about the process and how INEC managed the conduct of the two elections that we had. In your own assessment, what do you think could be the areas of complaint, and are they justified?
Thank you very much. Well, let me start off by saying that there is no way we won't have complaints. It is natural, especially in this part of the world or anywhere in the world, that the loser would complain. The loser will always say something was manipulated, this was not done, this was done, So that should be expected. However, that is not to say that the system was foolproof. What I observed at my polling unit was that immediately after the voting exercise is completed, when it's time for the results to be uploaded, the network becomes problematic. Whether this is intentional or it just happens, I wouldn't know. I cannot comment on that. So maybe that is an area that we would say still needs to be worked on. Yes, we've gone a notch higher, like the barrister said, but I think that there are still areas we can work on and we can even make better. Like I was telling some people that I'm looking forward to a time Nigeria will vote like America, where you can sit in the comfort of your home and cast your votes. We will get there. It might take time.
We will get there, but it will take time. Yeah. Oh, let's have a short break and then we'll come back.
Cry over me. The day you join can be the day you will die.
Sean Autism.
Don't live in fear. Don't give in to peer pressure. Seek counsel. This message is from the Ogun State government.
Welcome back to Your Image, your public relations program on TV. We were discussing the aftermath of 2023 elections, the healing process options. How do we go about the healing process? Let me quickly welcome Honorable Justin Olufatoki, a former member of the House of Assembly in Ogun State, a business magnate, and a community leader. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
You met us discussing the success or the otherwise of 2023 elections, talking about the presidential and the gubernatorial elections. And to some people, it was not successful. To some people, there's a marked difference. It's not clear. So what's your own assessment, sir?
Thank you very much. Let us first thank God that we witnessed that historic election,
And we're still
alive to very historic.
Okay. In what way?
I will explain.
Okay.
The expectations of Nigerians were so much, and the INEC chairman in particular promised Nigerians free, fair, and credible election. To me, the election was free, fair, but the word credible, what removed the word credibility there is the fact that the pronouncement of the annex chairman on several occasions, even with documents, that the election result will be transmitted automatically, was not done. That is the only shortcoming as far as I'm concerned. But when we look at the distribution of election materials, it started very early. Getting to the polling booths, I can say about 80%, 85% election materials got to the polling units. The security were at a large. We have some pocket number of rancor, ballot boxes, snatching, burning, most especially in Lagos, in Sagamu, Ogun State here, we had it. But you can't, generally, politics is evolving. You can't compare it to what was obtained in 1979 during MPN and UPN. Or you want to compare with what happened in 63, the wet period, Action Group and the NCNC, MPC. So we are moving forward, but we are not there yet. Now, a situation where election will be held and 48 hours after the result is not announced, is not acceptable.
Maybe it's because of the technology.
That technology is supposed to improve. We used card reader in 2019, and the promise was that beavers will be more credible, will be faster to upload the election results and transmit. Having said that, generally I would say the election was peaceful, free and fair. The pockets of complaints we have right there, there's nowhere in the world that we have perfect situation.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
That's nowhere in the world.
We were witnesses to so many atrocities being committed in some countries and even in Nigeria in the time past. And we could say we are advancing. Do you agree we are advancing?
Absolutely, yes, yeah, that.
But why are we still having vote buying?
That's a serious counter one.
The reason is simple. It's because some people want to win at all cost.
So why must they win at all cost? It's the availability of technology and the processes INEC had put in place.
Well, it's difficult to have a foolproof system, I think the three guests you have today have confirmed that. Even the US that Gladys, did I get the name? Yes, cited. You know that even there, Russia was fingered as interfering with US elections. That's United States of America. That is adjudged or arguably one of the best in the world. So it's difficult to have that. People want to win at all costs. In 2019 when I contested, I did not win then, and I just drove home.
Did you agree you lost?
Of course I agreed now. I think I came fourth or so. In fact, someone called me and said I shouldn't bother going to the court. I said, of course I know the law, because even if I go to court, there was no way I could have come first anyway. And law is clear on that. So I went home straight. I even had to, of course, I had youths on my side. Someone would say, yeah, nigga, this and that. I said, you better relax. I will come back and try again next time. Alright? Let me use 8 years to prepare. That 2027, God helping me, I can come out again. We're talking about healing process. And for those that are, of course, feeling bad already, let us just calm down. Of course, if you feel so strongly that your candidate did not win, the courts are open, tribunals are open. Bring your evidence and then launch it. But then, vote buying will be there as long as humans will exist. Of course, that will be there. But talking about technology deployment again, when last year we had elections into NBA, that's for lawyers, Nigeria Bar Association officers. I think I said it here once. I voted for roughly 13 officers at the national level. Now, of the 13 officers I voted for, I'm not sure everything took me up to 5 minutes, and I'm not exaggerating. It was right in my room about 12 a.m. As Madam has said, just punch those things. With that, we don't need coppers, we don't need police, We don't need soldier. We don't need all those things. They can't do, in fact, there was no ballot box to start with. So what do you have to snatch? Of course, we may not have that operate fully across board. When cashless policy was to start in Nigeria, we had what we call pilot states: Lagos, Rivers, Abuja, like that, and it began to spread. Same thing can happen. It's just the way to go. The over 300 billion naira that was spent for these past elections, maybe 1/10 of it will have been needed. All right, see the level of stress that Beavers saved us from, for example, rather than the manual one being done. So some will do vote buying because they want to win at all costs, and that's bad by all means. It's an offense under the Electoral Act. But going forward, I think that if more technology is deployed, I don't know who the next chairman will be for INEC, but you should think in that line. It has a way of reducing vote buying and a lot of malpractices if we deploy more technology. Yes.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to cross over to Honorable Fatoke. Why is it that the existing and entrenched political parties that are always making waves, why are we not having young political parties thriving in Nigeria?
Thank you. It's not only in Nigeria. For example, in America, we have Conservative Party, we have Democrats. We have other hundreds political parties.
Okay.
But the ones that are leading political. In Nigeria today, in 1979, those that are prominent were just UPN, NPN. Then we have PRP, PP, GNPP, and so on and so forth. All right. So, what informed the supremacy of 2 or 3 political parties in a particular country? Forming political party is not a party. It's not. It involves a lot of money. It has to do with the condition that you have to meet up with the INEC. One, you have to have your office in at least 2/3 of the total number of local government that you have, not just state. Your presence have to be felt in about 2/3 majority of the state, and in that state you have to have, in each local government you have offices. When you have offices, you have staff there, at least one staff, and this involves a lot of money. Vehicles, administrative charges, and so on and so forth. So, and almost always you have the politicians. We know ourselves, we want to be in a particular party where you have timber and caliber, people that can move the nation, people that can make a change. So it is natural. It is natural. But that's the finances is a big factor.
Well, thank you so much, Chief. Mr. Odubel.
Yes.
You are a professional. You are not a politician. Oh, are you?
We're all politicians. Everyone is different.
Okay. I want to approach you, though I'm not a lawyer. The role of professionals in evolving, in creating a new process, checkmating the excessive expenditure in this kind of project. How can we go about it? Because among you have the tax people, you have IT people, you have so many. So can't that be coming together in creating a soft landing? Other equipment that are hardcore, but looking at technology and deploying them, won't we have a better system?
Yes, you're right, sir. We'll have a better system, but I hope you also know that systems development also costs money.
Okay.
You want to build equipment, you are going to spend money. Somebody is going to sit down and think about what do we need the equipment for? How is it going to be built? What will this equipment